They're delicious. Damn you, Go Game Go! Don't give it to Stu.
I love the crunching sound effects throughout. That's awesome.
Those are very crunchy chips.
I can't. I don't even know what I want to say. I can't even do it.
Pete is all dressed in a number of ways.
Oh, Pete, you know, I was at the store today. I could not find those. Still.
Is that a Canada only thing?
No.
Oh, really? I
No.
asked Catherine, she'd never heard of it. I've never heard of it either.
I hadn't heard of it, but but one of my students the other day said I should be able to find them at a Schnucks somewhere south.
I think they're there. But they're not popular. Like here, they're one of the regular flavors that you see everywhere. Not down there. I think. Yeah.
Well, I'm doing the damnedest that I can to make sure that they're popular here, and obviously they're somewhat popular because we can't get them.
There you go.
I think Pete made a trip to the U.S., bought them all up, and then brought them back with him.
Damn you, Papa Pete.
Just before Stu got to the store.
So I have a bag every Wednesday night from now on.
Starting to make me think that you're tapping my phone, Pete. What kind of chips does she want? They're all dressed chips. Oh,
All dressed.
Yeah, it's bad enough.
Make sure you can't get any.
It's bad enough Facebook's tracking everything we do.
Well, I know it's really creepy shit.
Yeah. Occasionally it works out in my favor. I mean, like, oh wow, cool. Yeah, I'm actually interested in that. But 9 times out of 10, it's like, what are you guys thinking?
I think it's weird is when you talk about something or you buy something and then you get an ad like placement on some website for what you just bought. It's like, I'm never buying it.
Right.
I just bought it. Why would I buy it again?
They're either tracking you while you're in the store or they have a direct line to your credit card or something.
Like, your algorithm's all mixed up. Once you buy it, we're not buying it again, not anytime soon.
Right.
Yeah. It's crazy, creepy, weird.
Hey, did you get those 2 images, Jeff?
Yeah, I did. I'm downloading them right now.
Oh, cool. Let me know if there's any problem. I can redo them or whatever.
The weird thing is I'm on my laptop because my computer's screwing around, and now it's working. Not my computer. I don't like it when something happens with my computer and all I want to do is just knock it on the floor and just or like that video of that guy that's age. I mean, how old is that video with that guy who shoved the computer off the?
I know exactly how you feel. Nothing more frustrating than when it just won't work. Like I was going through that for about a month and a half there early this year until I ripped it right apart. And I mean, that's all it was is I took enough. Well, I found our 6th cat,
The outline of the
it was unbelievable. That doesn't need to be clean. That's just solid. And then I cut the air thing in there and blew it underneath the heat sink. And it was just packed, jam, solid. Exactly, JD. It just poof was like, oh, geez, I was hacking it off.
Oh man,
unreal.
I mean, I've seen all sorts of stuff. I mean, there's like mice. It's really crazy.
Did you ever see that hoarding episode where the lady said she used to have a cat, which hasn't seen him in a while? As they were pulling the stuff out, there was literally it's like a cartoon cutout. The cat was flattened, and they actually picked him up by the tail, and it was just basically an outline of a cat.
Oh,
he had died, and I guess she just kept piling stuff on and on.
No,
yeah,
that's
awful. Crazy.
Oh, that's
like Kevin Bacon in Animal House.
yeah.
Did any of us watch Yamiko unboxing? I think we all watched.
Yes,
we did. You can't even really make a smart ass answer and go, "Oh, there was an Yamiko unboxing."
Right.
Yeah.
What's an Amico? Never heard of it.
Actually, we'll be done in time for everyone to go watch DJC's video live show tonight at 8:30 Central. I think he has John Alvarado on. Not 100% sure, but I think he does.
That's cool.
So that'll be neat. That'll be fun to watch.
He is a good guy.
He is good. He needs to be on more videos, I think.
Yeah.
He has a very calming effect.
Yeah, totally.
One of the other things that impresses me, he's an engineer. And I mean, like an engineer, different type of engineering, but not always the best at presentational or social aspects. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like somebody that's like tech savvy is not always the best spokesperson to convey that kind of info. He does a fantastic job, very even tempered, and yeah, it's really cool. I'm impressed with that as well. I mean, just aside from the engineering side.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought, was anybody else, was there anything you were surprised that you saw when they turned it on?
I was just happy to see something.
Did you like the music?
You know what I noticed is really, really small. It was part of the actual Miko video. I noticed that they weren't. There's actually a newer OS for Miko, and the Miko they were using was not up to date because it said really small. It says, "Do you want to?" I think it was like something like, "Do you want to upgrade to the newer version or something?"
Oh.
So we didn't see the final OS because there's something else out there.
Probably so.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting.
And that's something that they can push anyway. I mean, like,
they can do it anytime.
With it, they can send updates.
This is like me at the end of a movie when I see it with my buddy. I always talk about that where he'll bring up something. I mean, I'm like, "What, Jeff?" I'm like, you bring up that stuff where I'm like, dude, I wouldn't even have thought to look at that at all.
I think everybody's looking for that nugget of something right now. Like, what I mean? It's like,
well, first thing I did was I paused on the box front.
Yeah.
Just to count the games. I was like, all right, what's the sixth game? Because it has to be here. And it was.
And somebody made the comment before John clarified, was like, why are the controllers so scratched up? Like, why is the controller screen, touchscrreen? And he was like, there's still protective film on there. But it's funny. It's like normally on almost everything I have, I leave it on there until it falls off.
Right.
I don't know. I just have this like bad feeling about everything that's going to get scratched. And at least until I can if I get a screen protector for it or whatever, I'm still frightened that my Switch, I'm going to like screw it up. Like I actually bought the screen protectors for that. The same company. Thing, but like I'm like petrified. So most of the time, even with the case, it's a little bit of a guard.
My Switch is 5 years old. I've never put a screen protector on.
No.
Oh, I did.
So far, so good.
I got it in my Orsley package. When I got the case and all that stuff, they had screen protectors, so I put that right on.
My screen protector on my iPhone is actually cracked, so I'm glad it's the screen protector and not my screen.
Not the screen. JD, it's funny too because as soon as you said that you don't take that off until it falls off, I've still got the protective plastic over my dishwasher upstairs, over the stainless steel front.
Yeah.
That we've had for like 3 years.
Well, I think our refrigerator is like 2 years old now. And I think I just started taking some of the plastic. I actually honestly didn't know it was on there until it started kind of like ruffling a little bit. And I was like, what's up with this cheap refrigerator? And then I noticed, I was like, oh, like the protective on the glass shelves and stuff like that.
Yeah. So here's a question. Who grew up with relatives that had plastic on their furniture?
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that in old ladies' houses when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, or that had like nieces and nephews and grandchildren that were just slobs like me. So, it's like I cover everything up, get the sheets out.
It is easier to do that than it is to yell at the kids all the time. Get off of it! Don't go! Don't get! Are you in the living room? Get out of there!
Oh, there was plenty of yelling.
Yeah. There was still plenty of yelling.
If I was involved there, you can be sure.
Yeah, Salvatore, I'm pretty sure you're right. I don't think that those were like proof boxes. I mean, they're pretty much final. It's just my guess is they got sent a handful to approve, and they were sending one out to was it Hans? Is that his name?
Yeah,
it was die cut and everything. I mean, it looked that was.
Next, they had the foam in there. The only thing I didn't understand about the box is when they took the system out, and they took the lenticular piece out.
Yeah,
everything was tucked over on the left, and there was this huge open area on the right.
Right.
Is that where like Founders stuff goes?
That's a good call.
Because I don't know what goes in there. I could see them making a box, just one box. The Founders maybe has some stuff in there, and everyone else doesn't have anything. Yeah. They probably don't want to make two boxes.
And everybody else doesn't have anything.
Yeah, they get nothing.
Everybody's going to get theirs later on, and it's going to go, if you'd have only, there would have been something here. So now it's just a gap. Deal with it.
Also surprised they went to the trouble of doing a die cut on that front.
Yeah,
where it was round.
That was
it up.
Well, I mean,
it's really nice.
If it's a true proof, I mean, that's pretty much what you would have to do, right? I mean,
I get it.
You wouldn't be able to fold it into a box. I mean, I guess they could have shown it like flat, right? And that great.
Yeah, I mean,
impact.
Yeah, what Salvatore says, I get it because I was looking at it closely. I mean, I worked in packaging, like Jeff too, and you do get proofs. You get certain things or you wrap stuff around. In
boxes and bags, you get final. It's close to final as possible, so you can make sure everything folds right and it's lined up right.
Yeah,
I thought he said that though. I thought he said this was just packaged to send to Hans and that's it. Like, I mean, I thought he said basically this is a one-off.
Yeah, he was saying something about that, and yet at the same time, I think he said that it was kind of like an actual box.
Oh yeah, I think he said it was done by the same people. It was like done at the same place. It's just a one-off.
Salvatore's probably right because when they opened the box, the controllers were in the system.
Correct.
And there's no way they're shipping it like that.
Right.
No. Totally. So they're probably each in their own box. They're probably in that section.
That's a great point, Salvatore.
Yeah. Real good point.
I don't even know what comes with the Founders anymore. Do you?
What's that?
What'd you say?
What comes with the Founders? I know that lenticular poster does. I think a patch. Like an Activision patch.
Pins. Card.
Cookies.
No cookies. Smarties.
Box
Smarties.
All dressed chips.
Well, have you ever gotten
wouldn't that be cool if they like packaged all dressed chips in there so that the controllers would stay put?
There is without saying the specific name, Stu, the one company that the music gear company that sends you candy with your stuff. With every order they send candy.
Really? I don't know.
You're not aware of that? Okay.
No. Of course, I'm not a gearhead. Unfortunately,
what's that?
I'm not a gearhead. That's probably why.
I got you.
I have some pedals, but I got in so late, and my brain is on other things. I'm like, oh, that does what? Oh, I have to program it. Okay, I'll get to that sometime.
Well, it's pretty cool. Even when you if you bought a pack of strings or something like that, they'll send you.
Really? That's cool.
And American Smarties actually, and that's what you mentioned Smarties, and that's why I thought of that.
Right.
It was like I think they sent like a Charms Blow Pop, some Smarties, and like a couple like bite size, like fun size, or Three Musketeers or something like that.
Or as they say,
it ties in with the name of the music,
right?
So it's just
as the comedian would say, disappointment size.
All right, JD, I think you might have to help us out with. Well, I think I can read it.
The image isn't coming out too good.
Yeah, pretty low res. This is
Catherine. I have it here. I can just read it off.
Where's Catherine at? Why isn't she on the show?
She is. She's here.
No, I mean on the show.
Oh, on the show. It was just timing.
Right downstairs and read that list.
So I can. I'll read it quick. Here.
Oh, Bad Brains.
Yeah, and so she wanted me to preface this by saying that this is representative of a lot of the Washington, D.C. area, like underground scene, like the punk scene. early on in like the early 80s, late 70s kind of thing.
I love that. I have to say it before you read it. I have to say it because I need to say that I'm impressed that she's got Big Star on there.
Oh yeah, well, she's the one. I give her full credit. She's the one that turned me on to Big Star, and so okay, I'll grab these out, just a couple of these albums, but yeah. So Big Star, very cool. This band, you were talking about Cheap Trick earlier, Pete. This band was very influential to Cheap Trick, so much so. Cheap Trick performed. I forgot the actual name of the song. It's "They're All Right." You know, the theme of the '70s show is actually not a Cheap Trick song. It is a Big Star song, and it's on this album.
That freaked me out,
and it totally freaked me out because I was listening to it, and you know, Catherine's just kind of waiting for the expression, and I didn't notice it at first because it sounds a lot different until it gets to the chorus.
And you're welcome, Catherine.
Yeah,
definitely.
And very cool. But so this the Bad Brains album, I don't have, this is actually a special edition of it. This isn't the actual one, but band in DC. This one, you probably see a lot of like big rock stars wearing this t-shirt. And you know, a lot of like thrash bands and stuff like that were influenced by the Bad Brains.
Absolutely.
They're DC based, but they kind of became nationally known. But again, really cool. Different. They started out as kind of like a jazz and reggae kind of band, and then they got into like really heavy stuff, like that headed into the thrash category.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I'll just read these other ones off quickly. Beck, Sea Change. After Bad Brains, self-titled, I guess is on there. Beck, Sea Change. I can't speak for any of most of these, but some of them I can. Big Star, the first record. Dane Bramage, I Scream Not Coming Down. So that was Dave Grohl's first band. Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters and Nirvana.
Bramage. What a great name.
And Dave Grohl, again, give him a shout out. I mean, he's from our hometown. His mom taught at our high school. He would have gone to our high school, but he dropped out and then, you know, did the essentially Nirvana thing. So I guess it worked out well for him. And he's got a New York Times bestseller book. That's pretty good for a high school dropout.
I just watched Studio 666.
You did see it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we'll talk about that. So is that Foo Fighters, Medium Rare, B-side covers, Baker Street, which you guys have heard, Darling Nikki, the Prince song, and Have a Cigar, Pink Floyd. Fugazi is another band that was, big DC band. Waiting Room is like their big song. You might have heard it at sporting events and stuff. At least we do here. Jeff Buckley. Great. And Jeff Buckley is one of those guys, Stu, you and I have talked about him before. He's a songwriter, first and foremost. Mm-hmm. And he died prematurely. He died when he was young. He drowned. But he actually, the thing that was astonishing to me is, listening to music, I didn't understand this, but he was a GIT guy, Guitar Institute of Technology.
Wow.
Hot shot guitar players were out of, like Paul Gilbert and all those guys.
Yeah.
Paul Gilbert went there. So Guitar Institute of Technology. And but he's a phenomenal guitar player. There's only like one or two live clips of him like shredding. But this is more song based. But he's influenced a lot of people. I just saw an interview with Miles Kennedy. Big. He was like one of his biggest influences. Minor Threat, self-titled. Rites of Spring, self-titled, and the Stooges, self-titled. I know Catherine's a huge Stooges fan, and I got her an Iggy Pop Funko Pop figure that she did.
I saw that one out there. I was like,
and thank you, Catherine, for the contributions, and thank you for turning me on to new stuff, because if it wasn't that, my list would completely be Van Halen and Rush.
Which doesn't suck.
No. But, she's expanded my repertoire a little bit. I mean, I listen to other stuff, but,
Well, it's always interesting, when people turn you on to different stuff, like you just said about Big Star. I mean, here, we're all thinking this is a Cheap Trick tune.
Right.
And, and you're like, no. And then you hear the original, even, what was there's another tune. One of them that surprised me was the Hot Cherie.
Oh, you mean from Neil Sean's
from Hardline.
Yeah.
And that's a cover, and just all these songs are picked by these bands and produced much heavier, and much different. And it's wild.
It's funny because it's awesome that you mentioned Hardline, and that's not on my like gem picks or anything. I mean, it's a good album, but it ties into a story. Was that Saboteur? Was that Orange Vita Water, JD? Yes, it is. It's Vita Water Zero. Sweetened with stevia. Very good.
JD, what that? Do you have the Stooges album there?
Yeah.
Is that the one that has the song? Oh, what is it? I Want to Be Your Dog. Is that it?
I believe so. It is track 2, side 1.
Ah, okay. All right.
And this band has been influential to a lot of people. I know, like people like Duff McKagan, from bass player of Guns N' Roses, huge Stooges fan. They actually played this. They actually played that song live. Guns N' Roses the last time we saw them, I believe. If not
Catherine, you can't have that as a goal.
This is anything other than Van Halen and Rush.
I love you, Catherine, but you can't make that a goal. That's illegal. I think you can get arrested for that, and I don't want you to get arrested. There, how about that?
Yeah, to her defense, she's gone to all these shows, live shows too. She loves going to shows, and she was there right with me for the final ever Rush concert at the LA.
Wow, that's cool.
And she enjoyed it.
Yeah, there you go.
Making it either. I think she legitimately likes them, but I think, again, she's trying to open my mind a little bit.
Yeah,
it's working.
Yeah, that's cool. Didn't they sing Curly Shuffle?
Yeah,
I think they did.
I still think that would. I always thought that would have been funny, like a great parody.
Oh, okay.
That'd be a Weird Al. That would have been like a Weird Al thing.
Oh, I can't click on any of these because I'm on this laptop. I'm not on my.
She loves Rush.
She does.
Yes.
And she's actually gotten me a bunch of the remasters on vinyl.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's fun to get a lot of those. I mean, sometimes the remasters are really great. Sometimes they have a lot of stuff on there that, I have to admit there's a lot of stuff that I don't, I think we mentioned it with Blake one night because he said he was listening to some demo stuff. And I'm like, that's funny, because I'm not into the demos too much, because they just don't sound great to me,
Well, but that's,
because we started on the real deal. So,
yeah,
but for them, it's great. If you're just now listening to White Lion.
Check out the Gene Simmons Van Halen demos. I think it's called like Zero Demos or something like that.
That's right. Yes.
I mean, that's pretty much radio ready. I mean, obviously it sounded better on the,
right.
Welcome to Julie.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's up?
We're talking music, and she's got the last name of Fabian. I like that.
I love it. Another Rush fan. All right. I like it.
Hey, Slappy's here.
What's your
Slappy doesn't like Rush. Slappy doesn't like Rush at all.
Julie,
he plays bass and he loves them too.
What's your favorite Rush album, Julie? Let us know. I'm eager to know. Rush runs such a gamut. It's.
Well, I don't want to dominate all the time here. I didn't expect to have mine right away. Let me go through them really quick, and then I'll yield.
You want us to skip to somebody else, JD?
I mean, I'm good. I've been talking. I wanted to give some of the other people a chance to talk, and we can come back to it, or I'll be happy to, whichever you want to do.
Pete, you want to take over?
People will get sick of my voice pretty quick.
No,
so, I said, of course, being Canadian, you have to love the best Canadian band going. So, of course, JD said what it was, and I said, well, no, not at all. Oh, right there.
Oh.
Good day. Welcome to the Great White North.
There we go. Right on. Great White North. Gotta love that. So, I'm not a music guy. I like the good music. I'm not a historian. I don't follow it that closely. but we do have tons of albums here. And of course, realistically, what JD said that I'd probably have to pick would be, and this is, we have a couple different Tragically Hip albums.
I was going to say, you have to talk about Tragically Hip, or you're not Canadian.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm pretty guilty because I was not a big Tragically Hip fan when I had the opportunity to be. And I have become since Gord Downey's so huge now.
Right.
And towards the end, the concert that literally shut down this country. Everything shut down in this country, and they sat and they watched that concert. I don't know if you remember or not. It was an amazing show. I don't think they showed it in the States, but like I said, literally there was nobody in the malls. There was no sports going on. If you couldn't make it to, I can't even remember exactly what. I think it was in Montreal or Toronto.
Yeah.
And, but they were having viewings in the streets everywhere.
Well, definitely watch the film. You need to watch the documentary film that they did.
Yeah.
Which tripped me out. No pun intended, but that tripped me out when I was like, well, I don't know, what's this about? And I'm like, the Tragically Hip.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? You know.
And they're from Kingston, Ontario. And
it really makes. Oh, go ahead.
I'll just say a little history of that is Dan Aykroyd was always a huge Tragically Hip fan. And back when he was guest star in the 90s, he was guest host. Long past Saturday Night Live, he brought them on as the guest musicians as the act one night, and they really kicked ass. But yeah, you can watch it on YouTube now. Dan Aykroyd introducing them as such, and Gord Downey puts on quite a show. Of course, yeah.
You know what's weird about you mentioning that is we were just having a rehearsal last night, and we went through a Henry Paul tune, and I went online and found a live version of it, and who was introducing it at the Roxy? Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd, wow.
That's so true. It's 1982.
Yeah, he's into it. That's his shtick. It's weird. I just saw some on Facebook earlier today, him promoting not his Crystal Skull vodka, but some other alcohol, and he was all dressed at a bar and all, it's just he's still around everywhere now.
Wow.
Great guy. One of my favorites of all time,
And Trudeau is personal friends with him.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. I mean, he posted, I remember he posted something about it after he passed. But yeah, huge hockey fans. I think he played goalie too.
Gord Downey?
Yeah, I believe he did.
Well, you know what?
Younger, I don't know.
Hey, Jeff, can you highlight Salvatore's thing, or did you already?
No, I'm sorry. I was typing.
It says fun album. Paul Anka, Rock Swings. He covers stuff like Jump, Black Hole Sun, Eye of the Tiger, and Smells Like Teen Spirit.
All right, I really want to check that out.
Interesting.
I really I'm
very interesting.
Very curious about that Salvatore.
I can't even get my computer to work now. I don't even know.
Hey, Nick, what's going on?
So, on that note, a little hidden gem, and of course, like I said, I'm
welcome, Susan.
I'm into the.
I got a copy of that.
Do you?
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
That's just a lot of clips of stuff from the show as well. Right?
I didn't even know that existed, Pete.
Huh?
I didn't even know that existed.
No, Saturday Night Live. This is like, if you look, it's the original players are there. Aykroyd, Belushi, that's Chevy Chase. That's only the first year he was on. So,
is this audio of the skits or is this the music acts?
It is audio of the skits, pretty much.
Oh, wow.
Only, yeah. So that's a comedy album there.
Oh, my parents would love that.
Sort of not because of Dan Aykroyd's link with everything, but there's a lot of bands, like we have a lot of bands, Canadian bands, albums. Chrissy's into a lot of stuff like Honeymoon Suite, Haywire, all kinds of various Platinum Blonde, all kinds of various Canadian bands, which I don't.
Coney Hatch
sort of worked their way into the States a little bit, but we're probably even bigger in Britain than they were here. But
April Wine.
Sorry?
April Wine.
April Wine, yeah. We actually had April Wine play a concert here in town for our hockey team. And there was
really?
Yeah, it was. We had Trooper a couple times. Trooper were awesome. I don't know if you know Trooper.
Raise a Little Hell.
Raise a Little Hell, yeah. April Wine was here once, and we wouldn't have him back. It's all the main, just the main lead singer, right? And we had several concerts in the early 2000s, up to around 2010. Different groups in and stuff, but it was pretty good. April Wine wasn't one of my favorites at the time, but you got to love the music. You're right.
Yeah.
Well, here's a band that I don't know if you've ever heard of called the Northern Pikes. they touched into the States just a little bit as well, but that's a Canadian band, and they have stuff like Eep's gonna know them probably. This Teen Land's on this album, but another one is she ain't pretty, she just looks that way. Anyway, different album.
Northern Lights. I got to write that down.
I love that album right there.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah,
right. Because I love soundtracks and stuff too. Sort of like I say in the sound. I've had this for I don't know how many years. Like probably I've had this album for 30 years. I love that whole movie and such.
You know, my mechanic told me today that he almost gave us tickets for Queen.
Oh, really?
But we're gonna be out of town.
Oh,
who else on there besides Queen?
It's just Queen.
Queen.
Oh, it's just the entire soundtrack. Okay,
yeah,
all the music for it right there.
I've still never seen it.
What?
No,
campy. It's great.
Oh yeah,
it is great.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. Here you go.
Oh, I have that.
Catherine loves you right now, Pete.
I have 2 copies of that.
Upstairs.
The Do Ron. I remember that when I was about like 7. Here's an unusual one, which actually I like this guy. You either love him or you hate him.
Neil Diamond.
Soundtrack for
Private Parts.
Soundtrack for Private Parts. Right there.
That was a good movie.
My first album. That's great.
So this has like a split between music and
shtick.
Shtick, like from the movie, like Rob Zombie, friggin' Green Day, Van Halen, Cheap Trick.
Yep.
Good music on here.
It was a great movie, surprisingly. So I mean, I like Howard Stern, but like the movie itself was really good, and Paul Giamatti was in it, and he was fantastic.
Yeah. He could play the hateful character, can he?
Well, yeah,
and stuff like this.
I have that one.
Yeah,
I
love
that?
George Carlin. He's one of my all-time.
Oh, George Carlin. Yes.
Yeah. Occupation Fool.
This is the old classic.
You know, I took that to a concert at a theater in the Round, which is also where I saw April Wine, and he wouldn't even. It was later on in his career, and he was cantankerous.
Yeah,
and he wouldn't even look at it.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, whatever. I was in the front row, and I'm like, whatever, dude.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Well, I told you guys that story when we met him. It was the most bizarre interaction with anybody I've ever had. I mean, it was great because it was memorable, but it was just like, what just happened?
Wow. I don't remember that story.
He wasn't nice, but he wasn't not nice. You know what I mean?
Right.
I typed it in the chat. For whatever reason, we got on the subject of George Carlin. Is 7 Dirty Words on that album?
No, not on that one. I don't think that's on that one.
No. Filthy Words at the back. Probably it's the one that expands upon it.
Probably.
He was awesome.
So here's one that I don't know where to believe. I got it in university.
Oh, is that Monty Python?
Monty Python?
Looks like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Monty
yeah.
Python's Flying Circus.
I think my parents have that.
I'm just not sure, but I think this is the one you actually put it in. It goes through the Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Wow.
Like an album rendition of it.
Oh, wow.
And is this my last comedy album? I don't know. This is how this guy became big.
Oh, yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
He was huge back in the 60s and 50s on these albums, and these are really neat to get a hold of. I got a couple different Bob Newhart albums, and it's just so different to listen to than anything you're going to see today. I watched Big Bang Theory earlier today, right? That episode happened to be on.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to see him. And of course, we're always talking about our sitcoms and stuff. So no collection is complete unless you have the All in the Family album.
What is that?
Oh my gosh.
What's on there other than the theme song?
Well, let's see. Those were the days. Why God Made Hands, Sweetie Pie Roger, Transplants. It's just, I don't know. It's just music.
Wow.
Old style music. But that's just such a neat album. When I saw it, I had to have it.
Of course you did.
Right.
That always reminded me there was that generation, and I had 2 aunts. I guess they were great aunts. They were both voice training coaches, like for all different types of people, like more so like Hollywood types that didn't sing, but they needed to sing for a part, like in a play or on Broadway or something like that. But never mind all that. They used to, at all the family gatherings, they would sit down with some out-of-tune piano, at wherever party it was. If there was a piano there, they would just sit down and start playing and singing. Well, I might add, but it always reminded me, like, that upright piano just has those memories of like a certain place in time. My grandmother had one of those.
That was big in my family too. My mom played piano, and we would sing, and whenever we'd have gatherings or whatnot, there'd be some point at which everybody's around the piano, or there's a couple of people around the piano singing. And we did that at my aunt and uncle's place too, years ago. And they had Billy Joel, his big hits, from the Stranger. Don't go changing, try and please, just the way you are. They would, and so then they had that big long note in that song, and I did that. They're like, "How do you know that part?" I'm like I know this album like the back of my hand. So
I've got one more. I saved the best for last.
Oh, cool.
And we all, I mean, Stu and Jeff, really, I know they both wish they had this album, but of course,
Shaka.
I Feel For You.
Oh,
and that is an original.
Wow.
Back in the 80s. So
is that a cutout? Does that have a hole in the top?
Actually, it does.
Yeah.
What does that mean anyway? I can't remember.
It means that they had an overstock that they couldn't sell. It wasn't selling well, so they poke a hole in it or cut a corner off, or
just to humiliate the album.
It is really, Jeff. That's it. That's perfect. I never thought of it that way, but that's perfect.
Actually, they just throw it up in the air and then shoot a gun. Hopefully, it'll like land in the corner.
They try to get it right through the middle hole.
I missed again.
But in the album cover, exactly.
Susan,
what's that?
Flash Gordon has one in it too.
Yeah. I have a lot of albums like that. My whole Angel collection is like that.
Susan has a couple of posts here.
She does. I was just listening to some stuff from Station to Station. Thank you for posting that, Susan. That's awesome.
And let's see what else. Down here.
Yeah, Sneaking Sally Through the Alley. What a great tune that is too.
Is that the album name?
Yeah.
Because I only know really the one solo album and then the Power Station stuff.
Oh no, he had quite a few.
The one that had Doctor.
Yeah, that was the one where he's shaving. It's the illustration, I think, of him shaving on the front.
Yeah. And that's the one I'm familiar with. Maybe there was one after that. I guess there was one after that had a couple hits, right?
And who wrote that song, JD? It's the same guy who wrote New York Groove for Ace Frehley.
Oh, really?
Huh?
Really?
Yeah, Russ Ballard.
Name escaped me right at that moment, but yeah. Wow. Well, who hasn't he written for, right? I mean,
yeah, and he did Since You've Been Gone, that of course
great song.
Graham Bonnet does in every band that he's in.
Great song. But Robert Palmer, man, it was great. That was tragic. That was so surprising.
Yeah, that was really surprising.
He was great. And the album, the one that had Addicted to Love. That was
Riptide.
His solo album.
Yeah, Riptide's really good.
Yeah, but that earlier stuff was better. It was good.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you ever want to check out those collections that they did of his, he has Addictions 1 and 2, and those collections of his music, they're pretty good. And Jeff, I don't know that you know this, he covered Gary Newman.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's on one of those collections. He did.
What did he do? Cars?
No, he did. I Dream of Wires.
I've heard that. Yeah.
And it's really cool. And he also covered Marvin Gaye, and he had lots of good stuff. And those two collections really show some brilliant material.
And that surprises me.
Hey, Pete, Born Distracted had a question for you.
Yeah, I was just saying. I was just answering him.
Coco like Cat Stevens? Or is Coco upset that he doesn't go by Cat anymore and goes by
That's
Yusuf
right.
Islam?
That's what I just said. He doesn't like Cat Stevens, but loves Yusuf Islam.
I remember early on in our YouTube days, we had a big thing with Shaka Khan. I can't even remember what it was about anymore. But wasn't Shaka the name of that little hairy guy in Land of the Lost?
Yes.
With the
Chaka.
Yeah, wasn't that? That was Ron Howard's brother, yeah?
Was it?
Clint Howard?
Wasn't it Clint Howard?
He would have been way too old.
Yeah, he was too old at the time.
Hold on. Clint Howard played some character like that.
He did. He played in Star Trek. He played like an emperor that was a little kid.
Hold on. I'm 99% sure that
was
him.
What's really weird.
He looked like him though.
What's really weird is I just saw Clint Howard in the episode of Seinfeld where they go out to California and they think, the police think that Kramer is a serial killer.
Played by black belt Philip Paley, Chaka has been mistakenly thought to have been portrayed by various people, from Clint Howard to the singer of the band, blah, 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 blah. It's the rest of the...
There you go.
So, no, it was not Clint Howard.
Well, I've been mistaken, I'm looking at.
Well, JD, it was nice having you here. But we're going to have to let you go.
Thank you very much.
Saboteur. That is one of my favorite Wang Chung releases. I love it. And
that's great.
The Thompson twins did do Dr. Doctor, but so did UFO, and so did Russ Ballard write that.
The same song or different?
Nope, different songs.
Different songs.
They did Doctor.
And Maiden covered that. Maiden, the other Doctor, the one that.
And then UFO did Doctor, please.
Yes. And that's the one that Maiden covers. Maiden covers that line.
Maiden does cover that
before every freaking show.
Yep.
This Clint Howard is a YouTube show.
Wow, we'll have to check that out.
I'll have to formally.
We should have him on and talk about Chaka from Land of the Lost.
I'll have to apologize to him. Although I'm sure I'm not the first one that said that.
We have a friend, JD, who wants to know how it was playing Chaka.
And here's his phone number and address.
Here's his phone number.
Clint Howard.
You can go to his house.
He's so sick of hearing that.
Oh man!
Wouldn't it be great if he was at some kind of a signing, and you walked up to him and you said, "Could you just sign it, Chaka?"
Just get up and leave. They won't even say anything.
Hey, can I ask a quick question of one of our guests, Susan? Can you tell me yes or no if it's okay if I mention one of a band that you don't like that still surprises me? I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. I just,
Nickelback.
Who doesn't hate on that band? Come on.
No,
that's like
what is the deal with them? Because I don't know anything about them. Never heard a song. All I know is everyone seems to hate them. But
they're not. It's not that they're just super overproduced and super overexposed. It's not that they're bad. They're actually great musicians. They seem like decent guys. Like I've heard them interviewed. They're really big fan. They're like they cover Metallica sometimes, and it's like dead on. Like I mean, they're really good. But
I think they became like what I think goes along with what JD just said about overexposed is it's like comic book artists too. When a certain comic book artist becomes hot, then everybody starts drawing, or a bunch of people start drawing like that.
Yeah, and
then it's overexposed. So when Kroger came out with that voice and the style of riffs that they wrote, they became so popular at that moment that so many people pulled from that and were totally influenced or jumped on the bandwagon, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
And I think that burns the overexposure then. That's what really...
Look, a band like Winger got a lot of crap for the similar thing. Winger is a phenomenal band. I mean, music-wise. And like those guys, I mean, Kip Winger came from Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper doesn't mess around.
Yeah, so did Paul Taylor.
Yeah. And then, I mean, it's, Kip Winger can arrange for symphonies and stuff. I mean, the dude's talented.
Right.
And
they have Rod Morgenstein on drums.
With the Dregs. I mean, come on. But again, if you go back and you look at, and I've seen Winger, I was like kind of lukewarm on Winger until I saw them live. I was like, oh my God, they're like the real deal. And part of it is, what was that on Beavis and Butthead?
Stewart.
Yeah. And like, that was like the demise. Oh, that's right. Stewart. That was part of the demise of Winger, was like, they were just bagging on him. And it's like, that was like the thing to do. And I don't want to say that was the reason, but
no, you never want to say that they did it.
I also tend, and maybe this is wrong, but it's just me. I tend to give, whether it's celebrities or entertainers, a slight break if they play hockey. And that whole band plays hockey. Hell, even Justin Bieber plays hockey, and he's not bad. But those New jerseys. I don't know. I don't know if Slappy's still here. Or,
the Bieber jersey.
I don't know what was going on with those new Toronto jerseys that that Bieber made. But anyway, like I have this like fascination of celebrities and musicians that play hockey. So it's like, all right, I'll give him a little pass.
Yeah. I love that. Yanni fan club. That's beautiful.
I bet that dude's a nice guy, and I bet he's a phenomenal musician, but that's not something that I would listen to on a regular.
That's kind of like Kitaro. I like Kitaro too, but
when you're in the dentist chair, it's good. Or the elevator.
Next time I get in the dentist chair, I'm going to go, do you got any Kitaro?
I heard Papa is a huge Culture Club fan.
Let me put it this way. My friends, Jeff knows Brad. He looked up the top 100 albums from Rolling Stone, right? And so now when they go on little road trips and stuff, they're working their way down the list, right? And so there was a Culture Club one on there, and Sella's like, yeah, we had to stop on that one because he goes flat a lot, and I can't take it.
Yeah.
That's a Yanni joke. Oh man.
So who we got next? Who wants to go?
Go ahead, Jeff.
All right. Let's see.
I know Jeff wants to end at 8:25 or 9. Well,
what do we
my
got?
time 9:25.
Yeah,
and he knows I'm going to take a while.
I know. I have a list too. That's why I didn't want to go right after I just spoke, because I was like,
well, that's true. We got to get back to your list.
I anticipated Stu and I would end up, going toe to toe on quantity.
This first album I'm gonna mention, I only knew of the one song that came out.
Yeah.
But a few years ago, I went on YouTube, typed in the song, was listening to it, and then one song after another of theirs came on. I was like, oh my God, these guys are great. And that is the debut album of Possum Dixon.
I've heard of them, but I've never listened to them.
Watch That Girl Destroy Me was their big song. But listen to that album. It is full of really, really good songs. They're I always call them an alternative rock band because some of their stuff is definitely something you wouldn't hear necessarily on the radio.
Interesting.
But yeah, that first album is really, really good.
I got that written down.
I have a live album on here, which I don't even like live albums, but I love.
I don't either.
Robin Hitchcock and the Egyptians.
Oh,
with Gotta Let This Hen Out. One of my favorite albums. Oh, it's so good.
I've never heard. I think I've maybe heard one.
My favorite song on there is called "My Wife and My Dead Wife," which is a weird title, but it's basically like a ghost story. It's kind of cool.
That is cool.
That's very neat. He's one of my favorite guys. He broke off the Egyptians and went on his own, and
yeah, did some great music.
Now here's a great punk album, The Dickies, The Incredibly Shrinking Dickies.
Huh?
I don't know if anyone knows the Dickies. They did
Yeah.
Catherine probably knows if she's still there.
They did on this album. They had my favorite song, "You Drive Me Ape, You Big Gorilla." They got the name from an episode of Leave It to Beaver. Beaver was getting like records sent to him, and the one he was playing was called "You Drive Me Ape, You Big Gorilla." So it's not a remake of that song. They just made a whole different song. I thought it was great.
I don't remember that episode. Now I want to go back and watch.
I know, me too.
It's one of the later ones when he's like almost in high school.
Oh, when his voice changed?
Yeah, and he was kind of like dancing to it. And Wally interrupted him. He goes, "Not now." He goes, "Not now, Wally. I'm sailing." And he's kind of like, poor Beaver. But also on there, they had covers of "Paranoid" and "She," the Monkey song, which is really interesting.
Really?
Yeah. It's a very fast-paced album. And here's one. I hope someone's heard of these guys. House of Love.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of them. Yes.
The album I'm thinking of is their debut one, just self-titled. They have, I think their big song was actually on MTV at the time called Christine.
Well, I'll have to look that up,
16?
Yeah, that's a really good song. I also on there's a Love in a Car. It's probably my favorite song on there, and Happy. That's another good one. All right, now I know you guys have all heard of Jesus Jones.
Yes.
But their debut album, Liquidizer, is one of my favorites.
Huh.
I think people kind of forget that one because it didn't do anything. But when their second album came out with Right Here, Right Now,
yeah,
that took off. Matter of fact, I was listening to a local station here in town back then, and the guy said, "Here's a new song from the debut album of Jesus Jones." I'm like, "That's not a debut album." I said, what about that first album they did? Another one is just pretty much a straight up rock and roll song, The Wonder Stuff.
Oh, Wonder Stuff, yeah.
Eight-Legged Groove Machine, their first album. After that album, I wouldn't even bother.
Nothing.
These are the guys who, when their second album came out, I was so disappointed in it. And they did an interview and they said they want to do something different because they didn't want to be like the Ramones playing the same songs the same style every album. I'm thinking, well, the Ramones lasted like 20, 30 years, and you guys were done after your first album because of that bonehead move.
Right.
I've got what happened to Stuart?
Hold on.
Oh, he's trying with other.
Wait, you're on her twice now. How's this happening?
Now he's gone.
All right, so I've got one of my favorite bands of all time. I've got the Knack here.
Yes,
sure, everyone knows Get the Knack because of My Sharona. But that album is loaded from beginning to end. Their third album, Round Trip, was also tremendous. But at that point, because their first album went platinum, the second one, Put the Little Girls Understand, went gold, and then Round Trip, everyone was gone by that point. No one was listening, but it's a great album.
Yeah.
And then they actually did a comeback album in around 91 or so called Serious Fun.
Which, if you have not checked that out,
Really good.
I mean, production, songs, there's not a clunker in the bunch. That
it was
album,
shockingly good considering it was a comeback album.
and
each of those aren't that great, but
right, but it's really, really, really good. And here's the sad part. This is one of my things from radio that kills me, is that they said, "Oh, and it looks like they've gotten the drummer from Black Sabbath, and he's going by Billy Ward now." And you're like, dude, are you freaking serious? This is Billy Ward, the session drummer, not Bill Ward from Black Sabbath that now goes by Billy. Anyway, proceed, Jeff. I just had to say that.
So my last two are from 1979, along with, Get the Knack was 79. So that's one of my favorite years of music. There's
good year.
A lot of good stuff. And Stuart, I think you actually have my album there. The
What?
Pop.
Oh, I do.
The album's Go. They're so hard to find them because their name is so generic, The Pop.
It's right over there.
And then their album is called Go. It's like, try searching for these guys. Good luck.
Yeah, you get everything. I've done a
so
search
many
for
good
Jeff.
songs in that album.
I gotta check with Catherine to see it. I think we have the knack out, the Get the Knack. I know I have a 45 of my Sharona somewhere kicking around, and the cover is nice. The cover is of the 45. It's a very I forgot. I actually don't remember
what about
Sharona
looks actually like on the cover.
What's that?
You're talking about Sharona on the cover?
Yeah, Sharona on the cover.
Yeah.
It's a very close up shot.
Right there. Can you blow me up, Jeff? I can do it now, but
right let's there. See. Solo. Yep, that's the one. You can barely see it, but that's it.
Yeah.
She's in a sleeveless t-shirt.
What's the B-side?
She's in a wife beater and it's there's no bra.
Yeah.
What is the B-side on that?
Hang on a second.
I'm not even sure.
I don't even know where my 45s are. I think they're upstairs with the rest of our records, but oh no!
I'm having fun here. Everything's falling.
Sorry, Stu. I didn't. Now I feel bad.
I hate that. I have to rearrange everything anyway. So yeah. So here you go.
Oh yeah.
And the B side is the first song on the record. Jeff, what is it?
Let Me Out.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good song.
That is a good song. What a great.
I recall them both being good.
That whole album is great.
Yep. Yeah, it is the whole, even some of the slower tracks, and look what else I found at the store.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know where Catherine is. She might have stepped away, but she is a huge Sean Cassidy fan.
And, well, he's on tour.
He is?
Yeah.
Now? I didn't know that. I don't know where she went.
Wow.
Your Kids on the Block.
Boy's been Cool in the Gang.
Well, Cool in the Gang is great. Cool in the Gang opened up for Van Halen. One of the tours. Light of Day. I still need to see that again.
Yeah, we just practiced that last night.
Yeah, I want to.
Cool in the Gang is their song Celebration is very popular here in St. Louis because in 1982, when they won the World Series, that was a song they played after every victory.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So it just happened. It's kind of like the Blues and
Gloria.
Yeah.
Which
my
is
last
weird.
song, also from '79, is The Beat.
Oh, The Beat.
The Beat. Also the name of the album. Another power pop band, just like the Pop and the Knack.
Yep.
It's a really, really good album. That was a great year for songs.
Yeah. Did Bram Tchaikovsky had a really cool album that year too, I think. That or 78. I think he had a couple of albums in a row in that time frame, 77, 78, 79. That was a great time frame for all that power pop coming up. My first crush.
There she is.
Trying to cue some stuff up. Yeah, and a lot of people.
Hey, Paul's here. I think this is the first time I've seen you here, Paul. Welcome.
Yeah, totally.
A fellow Gamers United Guild member.
Yeah.
Oh, right
on. Did you show this one too?
No.
Temple of the Dog. Yep.
Temple of the Dog. Also, I guess we're getting it. There you go.
There you go.
See, I have two copies of that. I've got 2 copies of the Under Wraps as well. I think
we have all of his stuff. I don't. That's
dude. Check it out. He's on tour, man.
Yeah.
All right, JD and Stewart.
Go ahead, JD.
Clock.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I know, right?
Call up that list. Maybe?
Oh yeah. Wait,
I'll call it up on my end. I can't read it too well on the screen.
University radio station days. I have one right up there. I should pull it down while JD is there. I'll do that too.
Cool.
All right, I'm trying to
my
show
mom
it
was a
here.
radio station DJ when she was in college.
That's awesome.
Yeah. She specialized in like folk stuff like Dylan and
That's the wrong one.
Was that?
How come nobody mentioned New Kids on the Block?
That would probably be CHSR 97.9 FM UNB radio. Is that right, Scallywag?
Look at Pete.
Wow.
I'm like, what? It's like when he talks French.
It's
I can remember listening to that station back, when we went to university up there.
I think my mom was WRSU Rutgers.
Paul, don't be shy. Speak up whenever you want.
Yeah.
We're very friendly.
The RSJ, UMBSJ.
All right. So, all right. Well, I'll read this list and then I'll hold up a couple of the albums and talk about them. So it's not, none of these are in any specific order, but not the current album from Slash, Miles Kennedy, and the Conspirators, which I actually haven't heard all of yet. I've only heard one or two cuts. But the previous album, Living the Dream, fantastic album. And, they put out a lot of good stuff, but this, like, cover to cover, this whole album was just really good. There were a lot of really good songs on it, and it sounded great live, and just really good. So any of their albums are worth checking out, and any of Slash's solo albums going back. And it's very different from Guns N' Roses. It doesn't, I mean, you can obviously hear a little bit of that in there, but it doesn't sound like Alter Bridge either. It's its own, for Miles Kennedy, it's its own sound for sure. Dweezil Zappa, Confessions. This maybe had one or two songs on the radio, had a couple covers on there, but it was co-produced by Nuno Betancourt of Extreme. And he who sings backup vocals on it. I think he might have played a little guitar on it too. But this is a very guitar-centric album, Van Halen-esque, for sure. But really good songs, very well produced, and it's worth checking out. I've actually been looking for it on vinyl. I have it on CD. And then backing up further, Dweezil Zappa's first kind of like legit, like full album, Having a Bad Day. And it's hard to find, I think. I think you might be able to get the CD now in digital, but that was back in the early days, like right when like Eddie Van, like, when his mentors, you're going to be good when your mentors are Frank Zappa, Steve Vai, and Eddie Van Halen, right? So, and Warren DeMartini was in there too. So there's all those influences on here. And I'm not saying Having a Bad Day has like the best songs on it or anything, but it's just this really raw. There you go. Yeah, I got it. I got it right here. And I have a green, Dweezil Green Charvel that I got specifically for that. Wow. And you remember him on MTV. He would always bring that guitar. There you go. And just some fun songs. Very, very Van Halen. Like you listen to that, it's just like, really raw. He's, his singing's not like stellar on it or anything, but they're just fun songs and really, really cool guitar.
That's a really good addition to your list. I love that one on there.
Yeah, I still love listening to that.
Because not a lot of people are going to know anything about this.
Yeah,
Moon Unit.
If you're our age, you would remember the green guitar and talking about what everybody's talking about.
Right.
You know that he did with Moon Zappa.
Right.
And
but what comedian is on this album?
Do you want me to answer that?
Yes.
I Want a Yacht.
Yes, I Want a Yacht.
Bobcat Goldthwait.
Yes.
In true form.
Yes.
So moving on, Frank Zappa guitar. It is a compilation. I mean, Frank Zappa can get pretty out there. He's got all types of different music, jazz, classical, rock to just weird, a lot of weird stuff. However, he's an amazing guitar player. And, a lot of his stuff is off the wall. A lot of his lyrics are just crazy. But when it comes down to it, the guy was a stellar musician and an incredible guitar player. And what this is, and Steve Vai is actually on here too. It's a compilation of just the guitar solos from all of his songs. Well, not all of his songs, but all the guitar-centric songs. So they're all edited. I mean, they're all, a couple minutes long in and of itself, but really interesting. And he won a Grammy Award for it.
I did not know that.
Which is cool.
That's cool.
And I still consider that a rare gem because it's not like everybody, guitar players are going to know what that is.
Right. Right.
So the next one, I had to put in a Rush album, and it's I love Rush. I mean, pretty much you can do no wrong with any of their albums, especially the stuff up through like Power Windows. Some of my favorites are, like Moving Pictures, Grace Under Pressure, Signals. That era is like my absolute favorite. You gotta love 2112. But A Farewell to Kings, anybody probably knows their one hit that was on there. It was like their quote radio hit, Closer to the Heart, right? And that was a big, but Be hard pressed if anybody that's not a Rush fan knew any other song on that album. But the whole album is really solid. It's one of the first albums they started really using synthesizers on heavily. And Xanadu is one of my favorite Rush songs of all time. And not to be confused with the what is it, Olivia
Xanadu?
Xanadu. Different.
That's funny because I just mentioned that yesterday because I was reading.
I'll bring it up in a second. Catherine's so far she's putting record flats underneath my door and a Sean Cassidy record and a Sean Cassidy fold out poster that I guess I'm obligated to show. But anyway, just moving along. Rush, Farewell to Kings. If you like Rush or you even want to know what Rush is all about or whatever, that's not the first album that you want to check out. You want to listen to like Moving Pictures or something like that. But I think Farewell to Kings is a rare gem. There's a lot of great songs on there other than Closer to the Heart and very interesting stuff. But Xanadu, it's an epic song.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here. Oh, next, I'm wearing the shirt actually to promote Mammoth WVH, and that is Wolfgang Van Halen, Eddie Van Halen's son, who played bass on the last couple tours and was on the last album. He's a great musician in and of itself. And he's got a whole lot, the Wolfgang guitar from it was PV and EVH, all named after him. But so he's got some big shoes to fill, right? And he really wanted to prove that he could do it. Wolfgang is one of those people. I would feel very confident, and not the same style at all, but somebody like a Prince that can actually play every song, every instrument, sing everything. He does 100% on this album. He has a producer, and that's it. And he performed everything. He played bass, guitar, sings, drums. Great drummer. It's just a great album. Now, the reason why it's a hidden gem, he actually had one or two hits already. Distance, which was the one about his dad, about Eddie, and has this beautiful slideshow associated with the video. Right. But don't go in there thinking it's going to be Van Halen. Not one song sounds anything like Van Halen. And you know what? That's awesome. We had Van Halen. There's nothing ever going to be Van Halen again, right? Van Halen, name lives on with Wolfgang because she's an amazing musician. But I've seen them perform this entire album live, and they're amazing live. And he has a backing band, some pretty big name musicians in there. Frank Sidoris from Slash and Miles Kennedy, Conspirators band, plays with them as well. But it's a fantastic album, cover to cover. They're great songs. They're new. They're fresh sounding. Maybe a little bit of Tool influence in there. Maybe a tad of Alter Bridge. It's the closest I can compare it to, but it's its own thing. And just check it out. It's a good album. And if you get a chance to see them live, they only have one album, so all those songs, and they have a couple new cuts. So can't recommend them highly enough. And as a live band, they're great too. And all right, next one, Mr. Big, self-titled debut. Another band. There was one hit, Addicted to That Rush, and that was on the radio quite a bit. It had a video and all that, but the whole album's really, really good. And Mr. Big's a super group essentially. And it was Eric Martin, who's actually going on tour now with
you just with Michael Schenker Group,
guitar player. Anyway,
Michael Schenker Group.
Thank you, Michael Schenker. But Eric Martin was singing. Paul Gilbert from Racer X on guitar. Billy Sheehan from like everything. David Lee Roth band.
David Lee Roth.
Pat Torpey on drums, and it was just an incredible band. Great vocals, and most of these guys were known for not pop oriented stuff. Like Racer X was pretty darn heavy,
and Talus,
and shredding and stuff. Yeah. But this album is very pop oriented, but musicianship stellar, and I still love that album cover to cover.
Oh yeah, it's great. I met him on that tour.
Yeah, they opened up for Rush. It was the Presto tour.
Nice,
and that was a great concert. Let's see.
Now you're getting into a couple. You're going to have a few things that are here that I thought about myself.
Okay, cool. And we're running. I'll blow through these quick because I know we're running short on time here. I'll hold up just a couple of the albums, but Brian May and Eddie Van Halen's Starfleet project, and that was just a special like one-off. Like on one side, it's like blues covers. I think it was a Blues Breaker.
Yeah.
And something else. And
like they had a version, something called "Let Me Out" or "It's Out." Something like that.
Yeah. Well, I have it right here. I'll have to look at it. But and then on the other side, it's like some experimental stuff he did for a Japanese TV show, like an anime kind of thing, or I don't know if it was animated.
It's like Ultraman stuff.
Yeah. And that's really cool. And
that is really cool.
It's not like it's like the best music ever. It's just very unique. And it was that moment in time where you got two all-time greats playing together and just like the utmost respect for each other. Really cool.
Yeah. Just like another one you've got coming up here.
Yeah. So there's two. So, and I know I was discussing this with Jeff early on. I was like, okay, Survivor, Eye of the Tiger. And somebody mentioned that before, that Paul Anka covered Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah.
Everybody's heard Eye of the Tiger. Like there's nobody that has not heard the song Eye of the Tiger, right? But that whole album is really, really good. Give it a chance. I bought the album for the single. I absolutely did. But when I listened to it, I listened to that tape over and over and over and over again. Finally got it on vinyl. Just really, I love it. And Jim Peterick, I take it Jeff hates. I didn't see this.
You said I take it Jeff hates JD's taste in music.
I'm here. My camera went bonkers.
No worries. But Jim Peterick, one of the guitar players, he was a keyboard player and a singer at one point. He has penned some of the biggest rock songs in history, from 38 Special.
True.
You name it. But in Survivor, he was one of the songwriters. So putting that into context, how many hits this guy's written? Go back and listen to these albums. The other one is Premonition, which didn't really get much notoriety at all. Fantastic album, though. Oh my God.
Right.
Just really good songs and great music. We got HSAS, Hagar Sean,
Aronson and Shreve. Yeah.
Supergroup. I don't want to say they're like the best songs ever. There's some live stuff on there. I think there's some studio. It's just cool. Check it out. Hearing Aid. I got a quick story about this. Hearing Aid was it was an all-star relief for famine. It was a who's who of, it was kind of like We Are the World kind of thing, but for this.
Yeah.
And it was all like rock and metal dudes. And, like Ronnie James Dio was on it.
Yngwie Malmsteen, Vivian
Carlos
Campbell.
Palazzo from Quiet Riot.
Yeah.
But also Neil Sean was on it. Okay. So we went to see Hardline in concert at a local club, small club, and but popular. And he was sitting there signing afterwards, and he was kind of like, he was kind of too big for the club, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
He's a national dude, a phenomenal guitar player, one of my favorites. But he was like, he kind of couldn't be bothered with us. We came up to him and we asked him for his autograph. He was signing it, and he was like, signed it, and we were like, hey man, we're big fans and stuff, and then we started talking a little guitar, kind of piqued his interest, and then we go, oh hey, we just broke out Hearing Aid, and he's like, just stopped what he was doing. And he was just like, we were buds at that point. Me and my buddy were just talking to him, and he just like totally warmed up, and he's like, oh my God, and it was just really neat. 2 Jeff Beck albums, Jeff Beck with Jan Hammer Group live. Jan Hammer, of course, did the Miami Vice theme and done others as well. Just live Jeff Beck is good enough on its own.
And worked with Neil Sean.
Oh, that I couldn't find that album, the one that has Lies on it.
Yeah,
that is a gem. That is an absolute gem, and I couldn't find it. I know I have it somewhere, but yeah, great call. And then Jeff Beck Guitar Shop. It came out around the same time as he and Stevie Ray Vaughan toured together, and it was one of Stevie Ray Vaughan's last concerts that I saw, actually.
Wow. And
Jeff Beck and Stevie Ray Vaughan jammed together at that show, actually. But Jeff Beck Guitar Shop is a very experimental album, very heavy for Jeff Beck, and really cool. Lastly, Dan Reed Network Slam. If you haven't heard Dan Reed Network, check him out. That, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was produced by Nile Rodgers of Chic and Duran Duran fame.
I think that's right. And check out the first album before that.
The first album was great too. Yeah, but Slam to me just has like cover to cover hits all over it, but they weren't hits. Like, I don't understand. Like, that album should have been like platinum. It was amazing. And
I've always wanted to do Seven Sisters Road.
Oh, I love that song.
I mean, talk about great funk that would go great in a club that people deserve to hear a song like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I'll just pop up these just really quick. I don't know if you're able to take down the screen. No, I'm out of time. I don't want to you guys can look up that stuff. I got a pile of albums here. Oh, you got it up there? All right. Well, Starfleet Project.
Yep.
Very cool.
Awesome.
She already showed Having a Bad Day. Got a Mr. Big record flat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have that on CD.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh yeah, these two.
I think I got that autograph.
It looks like, but here's Premonition.
Oh yeah, right. I forgot what that one looked like.
Hearing Aid.
Yeah, there it is, man.
You can pause it on the replay, I guess, to see.
That's it. Yeah, definitely look it up, people. That's on YouTube. You can check out the whole video of making it. That is a great, and I'm going to be doing My Hometown in our shows.
Oh, nice. And HSAS, Sammy Hagar, Neil Sean, Kenny Aronson, Michael Shreve from Santana.
Michael Shreve and Neil Sean, both from Santana.
Neil Sean, yeah.
They both played at Woodstock. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Good stuff. Good stuff,
thanks,
man. Let me see. All right. Well, I'll fly through mine. Mine, I went for that major. You never heard it. Now, some of this stuff you may have heard because I've talked about it, but one of my all-time favorites, and here's one that I got from when I was working on the radio. A buddy of mine who turned me on to Angel turned me on to Bill Nelson's Red Noise.
Oh, okay. You played that for me. That album was awesome.
See, JD fell in love with it.
My God, that album was so great.
Is it one of the greatest new wave records you've ever heard?
And I wasn't a huge fan of Bebop Deluxe from what I heard, but that was sick, man. That album was great.
We both agreed on that. It's crazy. So crazy. All right. So here's a band that I walked into in a venture store back in my hometown, and I found this and the album. You tell me if the album cover is cool or not. Look at that. City Boy, The Day the Earth Caught Fire. And I bought it. Why? Because the picture on the back looked cool too. And it's produced by Robert John Mutt Lang.
Nice.
Now, Mike Slamer is the guitar player in this band. And he followed, he went with Steve Walsh. When Steve Walsh left, he did a solo record. He joined him to create the band Streets. And they did a bunch of albums. Then he helped. It's my understanding that Mike Slamer got hired by Mutt Lang to help to record Hysteria for Def Leppard. Because when you watch the movie Hysteria, they were like, that was a bad time for them.
Yeah.
They were messed up. And so he brought in Mike Slamer to do those sessions.
That's cool.
Speaking of Mutt Lang, this is a little known, I never hear anybody talk about this album, Plan to Win by Outlaws. Produced by Robert John Mutt Lang.
My buddy engineered a couple of those albums.
Oh, really?
I don't think he worked with Mutt Lang. He would have told me.
I would bet. The other cool thing about that is that's what turned me on about that Def Leppard movie that was on VH1 was that when Joe Elliott's on the phone in the movie, I'm not saying this is true or whatever, but on that he says, I know who you are. You worked with these guys and you worked with Outlaws. And I'm like, whoa, that's what turned me on to the movie. I'm like, they mentioned the Outlaws. I thought that was cool. One of my all-time favorites that people just don't know about. And this album has a little bit of a campy moment, but it's a straight ahead rock and roller biker band. I love it. The Gods. They've got a few albums, and this is the first one. And again, fell in love with the cover, and it was a cutout. This one is not a cutout, though. I've purchased another copy. I found it. It's one of those albums that I'm going to have another album that every time I see it, I buy it. This is one of those, oddly enough. Every time I see it, I buy it. This is The Man Who Built America by Horselips. People don't know these guys. These guys are freaking awesome. They had a bunch of albums before this, dating back to the early 70s, and they gathered in the 60s. And this came out in 1978, and I loved this song, Loneliness. here in St. Louis, they played the title track, Man Who Built America. And I had a chance to meet up with one of the members over there in Dublin. This is a little known record. It was the second one that came out, and we were just playing the song earlier, and Dan Aykroyd introduced them, and they opened with the title track to Feel the Heat by Henry Paul Band. Their first album, Grey Ghost, got some notoriety because Grey Ghost is a song on there that talks about Lynyrd Skynyrd and the tragedy of the plane accident. And they also had another song on there called So Long, which became an AOR hit. Then this album comes out, and it's brilliant. I hear Long Shot, buy the record, and the rest of the album is amazing. So it's great. Came out about that same time. They had fired Henry Paul from the Outlaws at that time. So here's another album that I buy all the time whenever I see it. I've shown it before, British Lions. Nobody knows about this. These are a bunch of guys who were from Mott the Hoople, and when some of the other members left, then a bunch of the rest of the guys did British Lions. They did 2 albums and a live record, and it's worth it. Check it out. It's awesome. Joe Elliott thinks it's worth it. He played a track. In fact, it's the same track that my band is playing from this album. Last but not, well, it's not last, but I'm almost done. Speaking of these, I had to pull one of these like you guys did, where it's like, it's got a hit on it, but did anybody listen to the rest of the record? The Kings. Everybody knows Switching to Glide and The Beat Goes On, Switching to Glide, right? But who knows Anti-Hero Man? Who knows Love Store? You know, there's some other great songs on this. So that's my pick for that. Another band I want to get a shout out to, because I'm doing one of their songs in the new band, Red Wanting Blue. They're out of Ohio, and this is probably their 3rd record. Some great stuff, but this album right here is really, really good. Really, really good. These Magnificent Miles. It's got some great stuff on it. Bob Goblin, I got to give a shout out. If you find this used, pick it up. The 12-Point Master Plan. It's an amazing album. My best friend's cousin is in this band. Another band that I love, and nobody knows about these guys that I ever talked to. Millions of people know about them, but Camelot. Start with this album, Epica, if you want to go for anything. Camelot is amazing. Nobody knows about it. Star One, nobody knows about it. Check it out. It's songs all about different movies that Arian Anthony Lucasen, the guy who did the project, these are all his favorite outer space movies. So it's everything from Outland to Star Trek 4 to Alien to there's even Enemy Mine is on here. 2001 for Jeff. They have a song for that. Another one of my all-time favorites that I bought for the cover, and I wish I still had the vinyl, Trillion. This album is freaking awesome. I didn't know what to think about it at the time, but it's amazing. Fergie Fredrickson would later go on to sing with Toto. Very good.
I saw him play with Toto.
Oh man, awesome. So there you go. There's my crazy partial list. I could do this again and have it all. Wayward Sons, people. Wayward Sons. Check them out. I've said it a million times. I'll say it again. Wayward Sons. I'm done. And we're out of time.
We are. That was good.
Woo!
I did want to hold up here, Catherine's Sean Cassidy poster. This is not mine. Just to I don't know.
This is not mine.
I don't know whether that was in an album. And of course, she's got that same Sean Cassidy album here.
Oh yeah.
And then
there you go.
Also, I forgot we did have this. We do have Get the Neck.
There you go. Yeah, mine's. I was happy to get that one autographed. I thought it was great.
That's cool.
Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren. That is beautiful, dude. I hate and appreciate that at the same time.
Oh, Hurry Sundown is the Outlaws album that my friend.
Oh, that's cool. Wow. Yeah. Simzik worked on that.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Bill Simzik.
Yeah, he knew him. He worked on like some of the Eagles stuff, and it was all
there. He is.
There he's back.
He's back just in time to get us out of here.
Took 20 minutes, but I'm back.
But you were here in spirit and voice. We know that.
Actually, went out when I went to go get this. This is how much I love the knack.
Is it, Jeff? Is it autographed?
Nope.
No, you got your Sky albums autographed.
I have some of my stuff framed too.
Yeah, I don't have any of that stuff. I don't. This.
So,
oh my God, what is going on? That.
Oh, I don't know what happened there.
There he is.
I don't know.
I think Jeff was just nailed for copyright violation, holding up that. It detected some. It detected it, and
yeah, I've got a copy of that first album up there autographed. That was cool. That was one of these nights. Jeff and I are going to give the big freaking Knack Live in Chicago rundown.
That was crazy.
Oh, is that where you're going?
No, we already did it. We did it in 2000, right? When
nice. That's cool.
It's
98.
an epic. Yeah, it was an epic Chicago trip.
We need to do one of like best concerts like we've been to. Like,
yeah. I mean, yeah.
Not now, but
no. But I mean, we need to pinpoint some interesting moments and like have like a. I don't know.
Like, I'm not going to talk about like all 30 times I saw Rush.
Well, no, I know that. But there's those moments like, like Jeff and I, that night was freaking crazy. And you'll understand why when you hear the epic story.
Nice. All right. I think that does it.
We want to hop over to Chuck's and see what he has going on.
Yeah. Anyone? Yeah. DJ C Game Studios has doing a Miko show with, I keep saying John Alvarado. I'm not 100% sure, but I think so. If not, they can pretend to be him.
If not, as Christine and I like to say, it's somebody else.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, gentlemen.
This was fun. This was a great idea, Jeff and Stu.
Thank you. All right. We'll see you guys later.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye.
See ya.